I can guess. I can guess. That's very good. Waiting for the madam. Let us see. She's there, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, shall we start? Yeah. Hello, good morning to you all. My name is Gyan Chandra Acharya. I am from Nepal. I was Foreign Secretary and I was also on the Secretary General of the United Nations, but looking after the vulnerable countries in the past. Now I'm in private capacity. I'm chairing one of the center in Nepal, Center for SDGs, Southeast Center for SDGs. Now we have had an excellent, I think, the opening session that has really set the tone for our discussions, and especially I would like to point out a couple of things. I think this will be very important for all of us to really remember that unlike MDGs, if you remember, the SDGs were negotiated by all the member states for almost 3 years in different combinations and different permutations. And it was the global body itself that agreed the SDG goal. That's why we had a lot of discussions on that. MDG was not like that. It came to the United Nations, it was just approved. That's why there is a very strong ownership of the international community on SDGs. It was after a very thorough 3-year negotiations that we have had. That is very important perspective that we have to look at, and we heard that in the morning as well. Second point that I would like to really stress, if you look at the SDG goals, now, in the MDG we only have the social indicators. You have the social indicators to begin with, and then you have in the middle the economic indicators, and then you have the environment, and then the cross-cutting issues at the end. So in that sense, it is very holistic, it is very integrated. The whole idea of really taking forward the new generation of development, if you like, is a very inclusive, integrated global development framework. And that's why I think having so many people here today, I'm very glad all the countries are represented, most of the countries are represented here in South Asia, I guess. And this is a very important perspective. And we heard that, I think there were many points to take away from the opening session, that the developmental state that it was talked about, that we all want to really make it. There was a focus on integrated approach. There was a focus on climate change. There was a focus on really South Asia being an example. Of course, it has done very well in many of the areas that we talk about, but it also faced a lot of challenges. And then South Asia, the variety of South Asia, you have the landlocked countries, you have the least developed countries, they have their own particular challenges. So when you look at the South Asia as a whole and the SDG, you see the microcosm of the world, and then also you see here that if we want to achieve SDGs, there are two regions which are most important: Sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia, where there is a very high concentration of the poor, but also a very lot of expectation of the people. Because they started from very low, the progress has also been phenomenal in South Asia as well. We have done the review of the MDGs, we have done the review of the original SDGs, and we have seen that the countries that started from a very low base, including the smaller countries in South Asia, they have made also tremendous progress, and that's why it gives us a very strong hope that SDG will take us all along towards the objective of transforming world by 2030. And of course, we all know that we all have to do the national leadership, and ownership is really critical. This is how it really brings about change in a country. But equally important, we heard in the opening session as well that how much of this regional cooperation and regional synergy can really bring about change in the country the way that we want in order to achieve our the goals. So I don't want to say too much about that, but I think having heard in the morning the larger, perspective of SDGs, I think it is very, very important for us to really delve a little bit deeper into the country situation, where we stand. At the end of the day, it is the countries and of course, the districts, the state and the local levels in the country itself that have to deliver on SDGs. So I think we have really, really smoothly moved on, transition into the next phase of our discussion, which is what is happening at the country level, what are the, the progress, and what is the status, and what exactly is the expectation, and what is happening on the ground, on the institution, on coordination, on integration, on finance, and so many other areas that you would like to really pick up. Now, this session, therefore, is very important that we get the country perspective so that we can have a very, free and frank discussions. So how I would like to really go about this conference, this particular session, is that we will have a very distinguished panels, and then, of course, we will give the panelists 5 to 7. I must say that when I look around, I really, I'm challenged how to really manage the time, and this is always a very big challenge for all the moderators. We always concentrate on the time rather than the substance. That is the big challenge. But then I hope that we all cooperate with me and the other distinguished audience. We'll give them 5 to 7. 7, yes, to the max, I hope. If you can finish it in 5, that is well and good. And I would say that once the panel members speak before opening the floor, I'll also give a South Asian representative civil society organization will speak for 3 minutes. And then the open discussion will be followed. And then you may ask or comment on the presentation as well as the general review of the SDG 2030. So this is how we would like to proceed, and with your permission, let me begin the first presentation. Mr. Nabi Srus, Director General of Policy and RBM, Ministry of Economy, Afghanistan. I would suggest that in view of the time constraint that we have, we can all speak from our respective chairs so that we will save as much of a time. From chairs, if you like. Would like to go there? Okay. Well, I cannot see the... Okay. Well, I follow the national leadership is critical, we just facilitate everyone to do whatever. But definitely, you have the floor, sir. Mr. Navi Srus.
Thank you very much. His Excellency Dr. Nagesh Kumar, His Excellency Dr. Pusparaj, His Excellency Dr. Rajiv Kumar, Professor Sachin, and Chandra Acharya, and dear panelists, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure and distinct honor to be present today amongst international experts and professionals. Allow me to begin by thanking the Government of India, UNESCOP, NITI, and RIS for organizing and inviting us to the South Asia Forum on the Sustainable Development Goals, which provides a unique opportunity for regional cooperation and sharing best practices. Afghanistan has committed itself to meeting the SDGs goals by the year 2030. Our efforts to meet the SDGs goals and targets must be understood in the broader context of the security and resource challenges that we face in Afghanistan. We had our VNR in July 2017, and in terms of processes, Afghanistan was one of the good implementer of the SDGs. So I'm just focusing on the presentation. So it's not. It doesn't work. Yeah, please. It works. You can see our Chief Executive or Prime Minister of Afghanistan, who who presented actually MDGs of Afghanistan, and also he was one who has committed towards attainment of SDGs in Afghanistan, and now he is chairing also the SDGs nationalization, alignment, and implementation process of SDGs in Afghanistan. Okay. So, in the hope that SDGs is bringing changes in the lives of people, so economic growth, and we are believing that we are leaving no one behind, and everyone gets in terms of poverty. We are shifting people from poverty line or from under poverty to a better life in the country. Where's how to? It doesn't change.
Can somebody else?
So I don't know where's the thing. Okay, it changed.
Yeah, it's changed.
Okay, yes, it's okay now. So we see that goal one is about no poverty, and unfortunately we are suffering from this actually from this part that the almost half of the population are living under poverty line in Afghanistan. And also goal two, you can see that end hungers. So also we see that 45.6% of our population in Afghanistan are they are insecure in terms of food. So we see that a day will change actually our lives to a prosper one. So here I have highlighted a few actually indicators which are very much important for SDGs implementation. But let's say that our poverty line, as I mentioned, is 54.5% where almost 60 million people in Afghanistan are living under international poverty line, and food insecurity is 44, as I mentioned, is 0.6%. So I'm not going to read all of them, but we are trying to. So whenever we talk about the SDGs, always we see that there are goals and there are targets, indicators, and baselines, and also annual targets. So people in our country, whenever you say talk about SDGs, they always feel they realize that there are 17 goals, 169 targets, and 232 indicators. But we have nationalized them, and we reduced the numbers of targets and indicators. So there is why SDGs for Afghanistan. We have few actually justifications that why we need actually to have SDGs to implement SDGs. In Afghanistan, we have actually divided the implementation of SDGs into 3 phases. One is nationalization, and another one is alignment and localization, then implementation. So nationalization is completed, alignment is also done, localization is ongoing, and we hope that in January 2019 we start implementation of SDGs. We have actually established an institutional arrangement for the SDGs, where is the cabinet, and we have SDGs executive committee where it's been chaired by under the guidance of His Excellency Chief Executive or Prime Minister of Afghanistan, and we have Minister of Economy as the Secretariat, and we have 8 actually budgetary sectors, and we have also budget entities under the sectors, and we have provincial entities or let's say second entities. Sorry? You can't see? I don't know how. The lights, where are the lights? Where's the switch? Oh, okay, then. I'm sorry. So this is a kind of physical structure of SDGs that we have like indicators in the foundation, and we have targets, and we have those pillars or the goals, and then once we implement, achieve, then we are reaching to the economic, society, and planet, and peace and justice to the SDGs goals. We have actually established national committees and also working groups to actually handle the nationalization alignment and also localization process. So we have here, all the different working groups and committees, which are under the Economic Committee of Council of Ministers. I'm so sorry, it doesn't work. Under those executive committee, we have working groups, and the sectors or budgetary sectors are under working groups. I'm so sorry, it really hardly works, this change this. We have actually, we have 30 ministries and also budget entities who are working directly with the implementation of SDGs. And also we have the 52 associate or sub-lead agencies, and we have 52 supporting agencies or international agencies in the country. So here, the logical linkage of SDGs, with the programs, with the sectors, and also budgetary programs and projects, we have just designed it in the way that once we get the projects implemented, we can achieve SDGs goals. Okay. So we have here the SDGs nationalization matrix that we have done the whole process of nationalization. Actually, my time consumed by this one. Actually, I'm pressing, it doesn't work. So please, you give me more time. So, yeah. So the whole process, we have done from 2016 to 2018. So we actually we have done, all the preparation, the nationalization, alignment, and we are reaching nearly to implementation of the SDGs. This one, we are working on this, that to make or to bring all actually this one, as you can see at the top,